Hello and welcome to another fine beer KeyKeg project. And in this project, number 6, I'm going to show you how to turn this 30-litre KeyKeg into a beer fermenter. The fermenter will also have a tap. It's a quick and simple project where we need to remove the inner container from the outer, and like Blue Peter, here is one I prepared earlier. This is the inner from a 30-litre KeyKeg. Now, if you've been following this channel, then you know what to do already to get this part of the KeyKeg, so I'm going to skip quite quickly on to making the fermenter itself. However, if you're new to this channel, then have a look at this video here. This will show you how to open up a KeyKeg so you can get the inner container like this, and to see how to remove the liquid bag from inside this without damaging this container. I will also put the video links to those videos in the video description below. Now, I think this is a good simple project because getting hold of a container like this large, is pretty hard. Normally they're expensive and heavy, especially if they're made of metal or glass. Now, to be honest, I do not make beer very often, so when I do want to make beer, finding a container big enough in the house is quite a challenge, along with a big enough saucepan. I do have a demijohn, but one like this is a bit on the small side. And this one only holds up to 5 litres, and it doesn't have a tap either, as you can see, which makes handling it difficult when full. This 30-litre KeyKeg will hold more than enough litres of beer, so I'm going to be very, very happy. And remember, as a KeyKeg is designed to hold beer, it's already safe to use as long as you've thoroughly cleaned it before use. Now, to clean these, like any bottle, I use baby bottle cleaning solutions and rinse around the insides of this, and then rinse around again with clean water to make sure that I've got no bad taste left behind. Now, the beer I'm going to be making and fermenting in this KeyKeg is ginger beer. I have here my ginger beer starter, and I based it on this recipe from this guy, so go and look his video up. I also used his method to make the ginger beer from the starter. For my ginger beer, I have chosen to use the following ingredients to spice it up a bit. Now, I've never done it this way before, so I'm looking forward to see how this turns out and tastes. I also have here additional ginger root, which I'm going to blend up and then put that in the saucepan and bring it all to a simmer. In that solution goes the spices and the sugar. And finally, to add to the mix, I'm going to add half of the ginger beer starter to kick it all off. So I'll chop up the ginger. I'm going to allow it to simmer for about 10 minutes. Okay, that's it. This has been going for 10 minutes now. I'm switching off and allow that to cool down to room temperature. In the meantime, while it's doing that, we're going to go back downstairs. I'm going to make the KeyKeg fermenter. And by the time this has cooled down, we'll be ready to pour it in. We're now going to start on the KeyKeg and put a hole in here for the tap. Now, this tap I bought from Amazon for a few quid. And it's nice because it's got a nozzle on it, so that allows me to feed into the bottles. I have a profiled 70 to 60mm cork. Again, I've got a bulk buy of these from a cork specialist, and that works out to about 2 quid a cork. And then I've got an airlock here, bought this from Amazon, this is about £1. I'm going to drill a hole in the top of here, so this end of this tube is a snug fit. And some of you might have thought, well, yeah, this bottle is okay, and I can fit a tap, okay. I need to put a hole in here, okay, but it's a 65mm hole. And while I could squeeze my hand in there, I certainly can't get it all the way to the bottom. So how am I going to tighten up the nut on the back of the tap? Well, I have a cunning plan. Found a bit of wood, looked at the nut on the back of the tap, made a hole in the bit of wood. As you'll see later, I'm going to put the nut, squeeze it in here so it's tight, insert that down inside the bottle. That will hold the nut and I can twist it on. So that's that problem solved. So I want to put the tap just above the start of the curve That way I can get a good seal. So I reckon that's a good place as any. Take my trusty drill. So there we have a nice clean hole ready to insert the tap. With the tap now attached, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone, fill it up with water, clean it out and see if we've got any leaks. Well, it seems I did spring a little bit of a leak, and the reason why is because my washer seems to push past the edge of the tap. So I need to loosen this off and then retighten it and see if we can get a good seal again. So I've loosened this off and I've reseated the outer seal so that it sits snugly on there, it's not protruding. Let's try again. So I think that's enough water in there to test that I can hold this much ginger beer. I seem to have fixed the leak. I think the problem was I did it up too tight, and so the rubber washers expanded past the edges of the flange of the plastic tap. I've got no leaks here, and I've got the working tap. And of course, the reason why I've put the tap here, one, because of the curve of the container, but also being this high, any sediment that comes out from the ginger beer or anything else I want to ferment would just naturally sit in the bottom and I never have to move it. So we're ready to go. One last thing to do is to put the hole in here. Look at the colour of that. I think the brown sugar really made it dark. Far darker than I expected. But hey ho, this is what we're going to use. I tell you, it sure smells gingery. Pour that in later. Just put that to the side. And now I'm going to top it up with some more water. I think halfway will do. But I'm not going to fill it up here right now. I'm going to move the container and put it somewhere where I want it to be stored for the next week or 2 weeks, and then fill it up with water. That way I won't have to carry quite a heavy container around. So there you go. Ginger beer ready to sit here for about a week plus. Just got the last thing to do is put on the airlock. Switch off the light and see how we do in about a week plus time. Now if you like this project, then please do give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more fine beer KeyKeg projects, then do hit that subscription button. Be sure to turn on notifications. And I'll catch up with you next time for another fine beer KeyKeg project.